This is Veterans Day weekend, and I'm sure many of you may have associations with that in your life, particularly, and certainly I do. I was in the Army, and I enlisted in 1967, a long time ago. And I remember with fondness the first few days of basic training. I was flown over, I think it was my first airplane ride from Des Moines, Iowa to Fort Bliss, Texas. And I arrived into Fort Bliss, which was a magnificent fort, most assuredly, and it's still in operation. I arrived with really long hair, 1960s, okay? Some spiffy looking pants and a cool shirt. And I went into the barracks that I was supposed to be in that first night and slept, and everything began changing the next day. Absolutely everything. We were herded in. There were about 200, I think, basic training fellows there. We were herded in to a large warehouse, and we stood in line and got our hair cut, not only cut, but cut off. It was a butch haircut for all of us 200. And so we had a haircut, and we stripped down, and we walked systematically through to the other end of the warehouse, picking up things that we needed, things like pants and shirts and boots and dress greens and other olive drab paraphernalia, all of which made us GI issue. And we were, most assuredly. When we first got back into the corralled in this big, at the end of the day, I looked around and we all looked alike, absolutely alike. And that's what the Army was supposed to be getting us into, most assuredly. When we had everything, our drill sergeant, who was an airborne ranger, and he was a tough guy and he was a magnificent sergeant, he said, "Let's get dressed and get to work." And so that was the beginning. The first step in learning how to be a soldier was wear the right stuff. You're a soldier now. Wear the right stuff. Now, times have changed a bit. So too the uniforms. In the 1960s, there were no Kevlar vests and the like, but now there is body armor designed for not only efficiency, but also survival, and to enable soldiers to win the battle, not just participate in it. Here's the parallel. It's the armor of God. It's not body, but soul armor. That's what we are when we have today's soldiers who are concentrating on Christ Jesus and encouraged to put on the whole armor of God. Today's soldiers wear the whole complement of gear issued to them so as to preclude tragic consequences too. We wear the armor of God. That's an eternal thing, isn't it? It's not just, oh, I don't know, I had 4 years in the Army and I was done then. But soul armor is there for us all our life. The dilemma is simple, I think. Some of us don't think we're in combat. They don't think we have any fight. Fight the good fight, we hear that, but we don't really believe it at times. They don't care about the symbolism of the whole armor of God. It doesn't mean anything to them. And so they settle for an outfit that is not as costly to them. You know, they wear, I don't know, dapper outfits and maybe black watch plaid, full cut pants, I don't know, but it's not the armor of God, most assuredly. But here's the deal: when we cheapen or neglect the wardrobe of the armor of God, inevitably attacks will happen. They just will. And then, wham! It hits us. The dark principalities, the powers, the rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places, grab us by the throat, and we don't know what to do then, do we? And all of a sudden, we have been defeated and drained of that which is good and holy and eternal. We're just doing the things of the society and not standing up for Christ Jesus. Do you recall the last Sunday's gospel lesson about the wedding garment? Okay, that's an interesting thing. As that outfit had a purpose, so too do we in the body soul armor. Its purpose is survival, victory over death. When a true soldier sets aside some of his armor, he is putting himself at risk, and by God's grace, he knows it. When we settle for something less than we ought to, people, God, and old Scratch will notice also. Because we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, the rulers of darkness, spiritual wickedness in high places. That's the why of the armor of God. That's why we put those things on. Our calling then is very simple. It's our daily homework and heart work. Let's have our loins girt about with truth, the breastplate of righteousness. Let's have our feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, and pray everywhere and always, from head to toe, covered and protected. It's the panoply of protection from the wiles of the devil. Don't ignore it, not at all. Only the foolish would say no to such a wardrobe. So, let's get dressed and get to work.